So I recently got an email from a gentleman and it really got me thinking, and I wanted to share something with you that I don't think you know about me, or at least not my storytelling self, because I think you might find it valuable. So his email basically said, I saw you at a conference, I found value in your session, but even after I left, I didn't really think that I could use storytelling in any way. I thought it was more for people who were like on a stage or had to give presentations or were in some sort of sales, and that just wasn't me. And over time, I've learned from your videos that there are so many ways that we can use stories, and we all have a story to tell. And it's interesting, this is what it made me think about. I remember a time in my life where I thought I was done telling stories, like I didn't have any stories to tell. You see, I came to storytelling from elementary school, telling fairy tales competitively then on the speech team. And I was pretty sure once I graduated from high school and was no longer competing on the speech team, I wouldn't tell stories anymore. But as time went on, and obviously storytelling is such a part of who I am, I found myself relying on stories in like high stakes situations, anytime I was nervous, and now it's kind of become a game where I try to use storytelling in the most peculiar places to see if it works. And for example, I'll never forget when I was given my very first spin class to teach. I'm a spin instructor, indoor cycling, and it was the 9:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings, which is a pretty prime time spin class. It was still kind of small. I had the opportunity to build it up, get more people in there, but I was terrified, petrified that they weren't going to like my music. I don't know if you know this, but being an exercise instructor is super intense. Like, you've got to remember all the movements, you've got to play good music, you've got to keep people motivated. So I was terrified, and I remember walking in there that first day, nervous on would the microphone work, would the music work, and I remember thinking to myself, you know what? I don't know if they're gonna like Britney Spears, because I like Britney Spears, and I was playing Britney Spears. But I bet if I tell them a story about this Britney Spears song, they would like it more than they would otherwise. And so I did. And it was a huge hit. And then every week, more and more people started coming to my spin class. And every week, the murmur out in the lobby would be, oh, I wonder what story she's gonna tell us this week. And I realized that I had been so nervous about my music, so to, distract them from the music I was playing, I just told great stories, and my class sold out. And in fact, when I finally had to stop teaching that class, because it's cruel and unusual punishment to leave your husband at home on a Sunday morning with 2 small children for 2 hours, what they said was, what my students, I suppose, my exercise students said was, we'll miss your class, but most of all, we'll miss your stories. And I mean, there was in a spin class, stories got the job done. And that's what I think is so exciting, is I don't have the luxury of knowing what you do or what you need or how you could use story in your life, but I do know that you'll be able to figure it out. For example, I got an email from a woman just a couple of weeks ago who was trying to get an impossible restaurant reservation at a restaurant that simply does not take reservations. And she was desperate. She tried all different tactics to get past the gatekeeper. And finally, she told a story of why she needed the reservation. And not only did they give her a reservation, but they went above and beyond. And she wrote me and said, I just told them my story. I was speaking at a conference, and a professional conference, and afterwards this beautiful woman came up to me and she said, I know that I was supposed to gain some professional information in here and how I could use stories, and I definitely did, but I couldn't help but think about my son, who is about to go into middle school and who has dyslexia and ADHD and is kind of a challenging kid. And I feel like I haven't been telling his story, like the stories of this wonderful, brilliant, fun, kind boy. All I talk about is his struggles and the strategies that we need to use to help him. She's like, when I go in and meet with his new teachers at middle school in just a couple of weeks, I'm going to tell them my son's story. Now, she's not giving big presentations or the CEO of a huge company, and certainly she wasn't teaching a spin class, but those stories will make a huge difference on her son's life. So I hope after all of this time we spent together that you have had those moments, or that you seek them out, these peculiar moments where you're trying to communicate something and you're not getting through, or you're nervous about something, or you just want to be more engaging. And in those moments, you choose to tell a story. And if I've done that for you just one time, it'll make all of it worth it. I wrote that gentleman back and thanked him profusely for that message. And if you write me and tell me how you used your story, I will write the same thing back. So please, by all means, find the weirdest, wackiest way to use stories to your advantage and let me know what it is, because we all have stories to tell, and I hope you do. We'll talk to you soon.